What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Auto Auction Rebuilds. Today, we're back with my $10,000 and probably the cheapest Chevrolet SSR that runs, drives with a clean title ever in history. I don't believe you could ever find one for less than 10 grand running and driving with a clean title. Mosquitoes. So we're back today because in the last video, we went over the car to see what I got. Turns out it looks like a steal, but a little bit of problems in the front end, which is strange because it's got a brand new rack and pinion. Now, not only does it have a new rack and pinion, but there's a slew of other things. They did, I think, rear brake pads and rotors, oil and oil filter. They did the air filter. They did the rack and pinion. They did all inner and outer tie rods, of course. They did an alignment. They actually did a lot to this vehicle before letting it go for way less than I'm sure they had into it. One of the things I noticed in the last video is the lot of feedback from the front end, and there is a slight clunk when turning the wheel. I want to check that out today, but the main thing I noticed was the front tires are from 2013, the back tires are from 2015. The front tires don't have much left on them at all. The back tires look brand new. So from 2015 until now, this thing really hasn't been driven much, and Carfax confirms exactly that. I just got off of Tire Rack's website, and the set of tires that I'm looking to go for, I don't want ultra high performance summer tires. In fact, I hate summer tires. This car truck is not powerful enough. It's a 5.3 liter. All right, it's not a super powerful truck. It doesn't need super high performance summer tires. Besides, summer tires like Pirelli P0s, those things are going to run almost $2,000 for this. So what I did is I found some Continental Extreme Contact DWS06 02s, I think is what they are. And those tires are like $1,200 for a set of 4. So I know that we're going to be into it for at least $1,200 plus tax, plus whatever else they're going to charge. Probably $15 out the door for the tires. Remember, we had a slight power steering whine, but now I want to get underneath it and double check to see if that rack and pinion is installed correctly. Is there anything wrong with the suspension? And then I think I saw some coils under here that were not stock. I think this vehicle may have been lowered. I definitely saw some Bilsteins in the back. So I want to get under it and see, are there any leaks? What's going on underneath this car? It did come from Colorado. Is it rusted out? I don't know. We're going to find all that out in this video. But before I go any further, I found something, and I have to show you guys. We'll lift this seat up here, and it exposes a JL Audio E2150 2-channel full range amplifier. How about that? Sitting nice and quiet, just stuck back there where you'd never see it. Got a speaker grill there. I don't know if there's anything behind the other seat. I also found the floor mats. Hard to see, but I did find the floor mats, and I went ahead and reinstalled them. I haven't been able to figure out how to get Sirius XM to work. I need Sirius XM in my life, and I don't see any way of getting access to it from this device. There's a Sirius box on the dash there. I think, yeah, it says Sirius right on it, but I can't figure out how to get the radio, which is a Kenwood Acceleron KDC X994. I can't figure out how to get the satellite radio to work. I'll probably have to do some research on that later. Behind this seat, there's nothing except what's supposed to be in there is a little air compressor with some of that gooey slime in case you get a flat tire. That's right, this does not come. Does that not latch? Is that not supposed to? Huh, I feel like that's not safe. Oh boy. Not to worry, I figured it out. It's I had to pull up on this. There's the other floor mat, by the way. I've got this thing on the lift. I've got the wheel chocks. I've got the stoppers on the back of the lift there. Let's go ahead and get this thing up in the air. Let's take a look underneath it, and let's see if we can find any leaks or anything wrong with the rack and pinion. All right, let's take a little walk. How's that light? That sucker is bright, man. Let's take a quick look at these front tires. I already know these have all got to be replaced, but take a look at those. Wow. Yeah, those are in really bad shape. And the back tires, I think the back tires actually look perfect. They do. Back tires are in excellent shape. What are these? These are Roadman HP by Nexen, and they're 295/40 20s on the back. And the fronts are Hankook Ventus S1 Noble. I'm sure they don't make these anymore. They probably haven't made them in a very, very long time. The fronts are 255, 45, 019, so they are staggered. So let's take a look. If I remember right, the back brakes were just done. At least that's what it said, or maybe it was the front brakes. Let's take a look, because it said the rotors were either replaced or resurfaced. I don't know. I don't know about that. But the rack and pinion was definitely done. Now, I suspect that this thing's been lowered, and off the bat, I noticed that we have some Bilsteins, and they are, or Bilstein, however you want to call them, 24 dash, it looks like 103350, I think. I can't really see on this side. But anyway, if you look up here, we've got blue lowering springs. That's right, those are not stock. The factory springs on these would have been black. So it's definitely been lowered. We have what appears to be a ginormous factory muffler. Are you guys thinking what I'm thinking? No, yeah, I'm thinking it. I'm thinking it. I'm really thinking that muffler could get swapped out to something that might sound a tad bit better. It runs out to obviously these two fake. It's not true duals. There's no true duals on this, but okay, look at this monstrous drive shaft. This drive shaft is absolutely huge. What I think is cool though, is you kind of have a makeshift drive shaft loop right here. If the drive shaft were to come disconnected, you've got protection right there from it hitting the ground, and again right here. So you might still drop the drive shaft out the back, but you should be fine. Like, this is a pretty safe design. Fuel tank, I don't want to change the fuel pump in that. Get up to the transmission here. All the exhaust looks pretty factory. Trans looks about right. U-joints, they look good. A tad bit of seepage maybe up here, just a tad bit. I mean, nothing major at all. Let's grab this and everything feels good there. Trans mount looks good as well. This thing is in incredible shape. There's your fuel filter right there. And wait a minute. That's not factory. I could tell by the coloring on it that ain't factory. Factory converters don't look like that. What is this? And look at the welds. No, that ain't factory. Somebody had cut the cats off. They were running this catless. Huh, I wonder who put catalytic converters back on it. These are probably some El Cheapos. They're a D798-7, 912006R, date code of October of 2022. Same here, D798-7, 912006R, 10 of 22. Huh, okay. A tad bit of a drip right here. I wouldn't call it an active leak. It's not dripping on the ground anywhere, although it'd be hard to see down there, but I promise you, it's not dripping on the ground. Inside where the torque converter is, it looks very, very dry. I do wonder if this trans maybe had been replaced. It almost looks like it's been painted. I don't know, that might be factory. Are you kidding me? Is that the ABS pump? They did not put the ABS pump and module right next to a catalytic converter, right? They did. And you can see right here where this had been cut to. They put the ABS module next to the hottest part of the exhaust. Well, maybe second hottest part of the exhaust. Okay. And this is the part that kind of amazes me, because I'm looking at this and I'm wondering, how did they replace the rack and pinion on this? So it looks like this plate right here might come off. What is it? 3 bolts on each side. And then this plate comes off. You probably got to take quite a bit off from down here as well. There's a lot going on. And the rack and pinion is right there. You can obviously see that it is brand spanking new. It does look like the bolt is tight. There should be another bolt. Yeah, there it is, way up there. It's going to be hard to see, but it's the only shiny thing up there. I definitely want to check the torque on both of those to verify those are both tight. There are your lines to the new rack and pinion. And the rack actually looks, well, I mean, it's brand new, so it looks good. We'll double check the torque on those bolts right there too. I just want to double check. It's not that I don't trust the dealership that did it. I have no experience with them. It's just I hear a clunk when I turn the wheel side to side at the same point, and it concerns me a little bit. So over here, you got your new outer tie rods, and they look good. Looks like they're seated properly. Ball joints look good, and here we go. Can I get you up here? There's your Bilstein struts with the lowering springs as well. So she is definitely lowered. Definitely lowered. Slide you guys in here. Sway bar in links, or should you call it anti-sway bar in links? I don't know. Everything really looks very, very good under here, guys. I'm really impressed. Let's take a look at this side too. Looks good. Yeah, okay. I mean, so far everything looks good. I wonder what components they went with under here. I can't read the writing. Maybe you can. I don't know. I can't see the writing on that. Maybe I could take a picture of it. But it definitely looks like everything under here is in really good shape. Of course, you'd need to get it in the air to verify that, but those tires are so bad. I'd be willing to bet most of the feedback I'm getting from the steering wheel is from those tires. Those tires are 10 years old. They're rotten. They're dried out. Those things are probably hard as a rock. I didn't point this out, but if you look at the engine, I don't see anything leaking under. Take a look. A tad bit of seepage, maybe from the oil pan gasket. That's about it. It's very dry under here. I mean, it looks really, really good. I'm very impressed. Motor mounts look really good as well. This design right here with this X, very bizarre. You can see that this is a pass-through through the oil pan. So if you have a four-wheel drive, yeah, I guess you run your axles right through there. That's very strange, but there's your oil filter, and it looks like getting that oil filter off, that looks like it could be fun. I'm guessing it slides right off and it fits, but that looks like that could be a kind of a mess. But anyway, everything looks good under here. There is some rust, but it's all just surface rust. There's nothing crazy going on under here. Everything looks really, really good. So far, I'm extremely happy. What I think I'd like to do, I'll bet there's not much aftermarket support for this. What is this? Hold on. What is this? What is that? What? Is that a tow hitch? No? Guys, what is this? What? Can you guys see in there? What does that do? Is that a jacking point or something? And a plug? Okay. It can't be a place for towing. This thing doesn't have any there's no plugs or anything for towing. I don't know what that is. Very bizarre. Okay, anyway, everything under here looks really good. By the way, that is your battery. It's supposed to be a real pain if you ever need to change that battery. But here's what I'm thinking. I need to look around and see if I can find new or used. I don't care. I'd like to find aftermarket exhaust for this. You guys know me by now. I like things to be heard. I don't care about the catalytic converters. I don't know if these are good quality aftermarket converters, if they're high flow converters, or if someone just threw the cheapest converters on that they could find. I would hope that maybe these are some good high flows, but I'd be willing to bet they're probably not. Everything under here looks good. I would just like the exhaust to sound a little bit nicer, and I think starting with that muffler, if I can't find an exhaust system for this, replacing that muffler with a Flowmaster, it should be all you need. It should sound absolutely great with just another muffler. So like I said, everything under here looks good. Let me check the torque on some of these bolts just to double check that everything is tight. the way it's supposed to be, because I don't want to drive this home. I've got my fiance with me. I don't want to have her in the car and risk anything going wrong. So I'm going to check that bolt. I'm going to check the pinch bolt there. There's another pinch bolt up top right there. I'm going to check that. I'm going to check this one. And just for good measure, because I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and check the tie rods as well. And as long as all of that is tight, well, I don't think I'm going to be too worried about it. I'm going to feel pretty confident that I can drive this home safely. And yes, I know the tires are bad. I'll get some tires for it. So I already found something that's a tad concerning, not too much, but I noticed when I started trying to tighten these down, these are loose. And the rack and pinion obviously bolts up to this. So look at this. That one turned. This one, I believe, is actually pretty solid here. Yeah, that one's solid, but this one, I started turning it, and look at this. Look at that. There we go. So, yeah. Oh, look at this. Not tight at all. Oh my God. Are you serious? What about this one? That one's tight. Oh, there's a bolt missing on the other one. Hold on, it's right here. No, it's not. It's missing. Oh, crap. 1, 2, 3. But over here, you see the bolt anywhere? Nope, it's gone. There's an entire bolt missing right there at the end. Oh, boy. Okay. Well, I told you I was hearing some clunking, man. It had me just a little concerned. I was like, I don't know. I don't think it's supposed to clunk like that. This, I can't even, I'm going to have to maybe get a wrench on that one. Over here, we get, look, that's loose too. Look, that's loose. This is a bear. What I'm trying to say is there's a lot loose under here, so I'm going to have to go through and tighten all of these down. I'm going to put some gloves on because I know I'm going to end up busting my knuckles, but I got to get all this tight. I knew something wasn't right under here. All right, well, you might notice that I've got quite a few tools out here now. Well, that's because everything was loose. Everything. This bolt right here was super tight, and the same one over here was super tight. That one. Obviously, that one is missing. This one was insanely loose. This one and this one were insanely loose. And then I got under here, these two, super loose. Same thing with those two. That one right there, that 15 in the middle was tight. That 15 was tight. Then you come up here, again, really, really loose. Really, really loose. So next, after I got all that tightened down, I checked the pinch bolts. That one at the bottom was very tight. Unfortunately, the one at the top, that one was loose. Now, I want to say this, I'm not blaming the dealer. I don't know for sure that the dealer's the last one to work on. For all I know, the dealer shipped it off somewhere and somebody else worked on it. I don't know who did the labor. And I've got nothing against the dealership that sold this car. Absolutely nothing. It was a great deal. I'm very happy with the car. And of course, you know, in this world, sometimes things get overlooked, things happen. So I'm not mad, okay? I've got a 21 here, and I had to record this. I didn't film anything else because I was so busy under here tightening everything up. But this right here, this holds the rack and pinion to the frame. This one right here also holds the rack and pinion to the frame. Now, I haven't checked this one yet, so why don't we check this one together? Hold on, let me move this out of the way just a hair, and let's see. Look how loose. Look at that. I'm not even struggling. That one's loose. And then let's come over here and check this one as well. Oh yeah, look, I mean, guys, look. I could probably do this with one finger. Wow. I don't think the rack and pinion is supposed to be loose like that. Oh, like I said, wow. I'm not blaming the dealership. I'm just saying, whoever did this, man, you gotta do better. You gotta do better. This is sketchy and dangerous. So many of these bolts are loose, and at any point in time, any of them could come completely out. This is dangerous. This is very dangerous to have everything under here so loose, especially that upper pinch bolt. These bolts here, the fact that there's one missing over there, I'm going to have to locate one of these. I'll probably have to take one of them out and go to like Ace Hardware and try to find the proper bolt. These are grade 10-9 and they're 15 by I don't know what. Well, we'll figure it out. But anyway, I'm going to focus on tightening this rack and pinion down the rest of the way. And then I think I'm going to feel a little bit safer about driving this home with my fiance in it with me. You know, I mean, obviously I don't want to off myself, but I would never ever want to do anything to put my fiance in jeopardy. So let me tighten this down and we'll get back to it. Well, just when I thought the worst was over, like I said, I went through it. I've checked every bolt. Everything, tie rods are definitely tight. The jam nut there is tight as well. That bolt on the strut was also tight. I just decided since I'm under here, I'm going to check every damn thing, like everything. All right, right here, this one was tight as well. But right here, that strut, the pinch bolt on the strut, no, that was loose. That was loose. I got at least another turn and a quarter out of that pinch bolt right there. So that was also loose. These are now all tightened down. These are very important. Like all of this is very, very important. And it's scary. It's scary, but I could say now I feel very confident that this thing is a lot safer to drive, but I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to go ahead and get the bridge jack out, which is right there. I'm going to lower the car down a little bit. I'm going to get the front end in the air, and I'm going to just move the front wheels around a little bit by hand just to get an idea of how things are feeling under here. I want to just make double, triple, quadruple sure that everything is good for me to take this on the road and drive it home. All right, we got the front end in the air. I went through and just double checked all the bolts one more time. Everything is looking pretty good under here now. We won't know if that clunk is still there until I get back in the car, start it up and everything. But I'm gonna be quiet and just listen for any clunks, any noises. Sounds quiet. Very nice. Wheel spins freely. Up and down plate. This side looks good. Let's run on over to the other side. So in case you're wondering, it's still the same day. Like I just got this vehicle. It just got here and I just made the first video. But I'm so desperate to drive it home, even though I shouldn't. I mean, look at these tires. I know better than this, guys. These tires are, they're really bad, really bad. Golly, but I can't help it. I've got to drive this home. Let's go ahead and spin this one. This one sounds really good. No clunking and no play at all. I mean, it's super tight. No up and down. It actually sounds pretty dang good. So in here at the back, that is the, oh, you can't see. Way back there, right there, that is where the bolt is that holds the rack and pinion to the frame, and that is what I just tightened up on both sides. Both of them were very loose, so I am almost willing to bet that it won't clunk anymore. I mean, there were so many bolts loose under this thing. Truthfully, I can't believe it, just because of how dangerous that is. This is all very important suspension related stuff here, guys, and it is of the utmost importance to make sure this stuff is tight. So the fact that the rack and pinion, the only two mounts for it were very loose. The upper pinch bolt that holds the steering wheel to the rack and pinion was loose. That's a pretty big deal. One of the strut bolts on the passenger side was loose. There's a bolt missing that holds this little subframe in for the rack and pinion, completely gone. Then there were three of the rest of the bolts that hold it together was loose as well. Those little X bolts that are under the oil pan, all four loose. That's a lot. That's a lot. And again, I want to point out, I can't say who did the work. All I can tell you is that the invoice was from the dealership for the work done. That doesn't necessarily mean that they did it themselves. They could have outsourced it to somebody else and somebody else did it. But regardless of how or who did it, this is dangerous, and this should never have been allowed. This is complete carelessness. This is a lack of regard for people's safety and well-being. These are cars that are going to be put on the road. This car was listed for $16,995. Are you kidding me? And I had to come through. Imagine if it was somebody that doesn't know anything about cars. You could be driving down the road and these bolts really start backing out. You'd be in a world of trouble. A world of trouble, man. So I'm glad that the car landed in my hands, because I feel like I was the guy to take this on and make it safe again. Now, again, I'm not going to know for sure how this thing does until I get it back off the lift, get it on the road, and unfortunately, it's dark tonight, so I'm not going to be able to take you with me. But like I said, these tires are really, really bad, and I have no doubt that I'm getting a lot of feedback from, listen to this. It sounds like a rock. I mean, don't get me wrong, tires make noise, right? But these tires, you can't feel it because you don't have knuckles, but you don't have knuckles in the camera. These are super, super hard. So I have no doubt that most of my steering wheel feedback is coming from these really bad tires. And I feel much more confident taking it on the road. Now, there's one more thing that I really need to do before I drop it off the lift, and that is this was left dangling. This is a license plate light, and it was just hanging under here. It goes up there. This one works. This one obviously has no bulb, and it's a little corroded in there. So I got my QD electrical cleaner. I'm going to hit that, and I'm going to hit it with a soft bristle brush. I'm going to put a light bulb back in it. We're going to drop this down. We'll make sure everything is good, and then I'm going to call it a night, man. I'm going to go home, take a shower, because I got crap all over me, man. And I'm going to go try to enjoy driving my new SSR home. Well, I got it back on the ground. I decided just to check the air conditioning. I always like to check the air conditioning levels when I get a new car, or a new to me car, just to make sure that everything's good. And it was. I didn't have to put any Freon in it at all. But take a look at that. You see all that coming out of the tube? Well, this is a valve core tool, and it looks to me like this. It's like a valve stem. Well, a lot of times you can get away with plugging this in and just tightening it down. We'll see. I'm going to clean that out. You can see the dye. Yeah. Definitely going to need to clean that up and clean this out. Try to make sure that it's not leaking anymore. I think it's all right now. Yeah. Good, good, good. It's not, it's hard to get you in there because there's so many moving parts, but hopefully you can see she's not spitting any more of that nasty green out. So I'm going to clean up that mess, put the cap back on it, and then we'll turn the steering wheel and see if we have any clunks. All right, the lights are on. I want to check my license plate light because I had to clean a bunch of corrosion out of that, and that sucker was kind of a bear to get to. It didn't work. No, it didn't work. Come on, man. That was a pain to get to. My hands don't even fit up in there. Well, I'll get it back up in the air, and I'll mess with it again here in just a second. AC's ice cold. Like, AC in this is really good. Let's turn that radio down. Again, I'd love to figure out how to put this on satellite radio. I don't know how. Mode? I guess that's just colors. Search mode. I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm doing. Favorites? Country, Christian. Yeah. See? Source. You push source and you get tuner. Bluetooth. USB. Standby. Oh, Sirius. There it is. I swear to you that was not there before. All right, perfect. Perfect. Now I can activate this silly radio. So here's what we're gonna do. Well, you're not going to be able to hear because of the stupid tires on the metal. But earlier, you could feel a clunk in the steering wheel. I could feel it. It was like you would turn it so far and it'd go clunk, and then you turn it back, clunk. It doesn't do it now. No, there's no more clunk in the steering. Go figure. You tighten down all the bolts that hold your suspension together, and then suddenly your steering feels a lot better. Let's see if that power steering pump is still whining. Yes, it is. I swear that sounds like a power steering pump, but it doesn't mean it is a power steering pump. It could be any one of the tensioners, idler pulley. It's really hard to tell. Let me grab my light. I'm gonna have to get out of here. It's getting late, man, but I'm so excited. It's been a long time since I've been this excited about like a new project car, and I'm really, really excited about this one. So the belt is in excellent shape. The belt looks pretty new. Tensioner does not look new. Not at all. You can see where that air conditioning was dripping down here, making a mess. I've got that stopped up now, so shouldn't be a problem anymore. I don't see anything leaking around the intake manifold at all. Although I'll tell you what, this is an easy engine to work on. At least, I shouldn't have said that. It looks like an easy engine to work on. We also have the idler pulley right there that could be making noise. And there's a second belt on this. What does that go to? The air compressor? I bet it does. There's a second belt. Okay, there's a teeny tiny belt down at the very bottom in the back. You guys can probably see that. The belt itself looks good. It's a Gates belt, so it's definitely been replaced. But again, we have a tensioner down there. And that tensioner could be whining, or could be the water pump. Water pump could be whining too, but it's got absolutely no leak. So for now, I think all I'm going to do, I'm not going to sweat the small stuff. I'm just going to enjoy it. We will have some more maintenance to do to this. Excuse me. We're going to have some maintenance to do this. I'll probably do, spark plugs. Obviously, we're going to have to get tires, unfortunately. That sucks, but going to have to get tires. We're going to have to get spark plugs, probably do a coolant exchange on it as well. It's already had oil and filter. Air filter's been replaced. But I think it's important to do the coolant, to do the trans filter, and probably the rear differential as well. I might take it somewhere and get the brakes flushed. I could do it here myself. That's something they charge like $120. I prefer to just let a shop do that. So fresh power steering fluid already. It's got fresh oil and oil filter. So you do a trans filter and rear diff and coolant, and take it in to get the brakes flushed. And I mean, this thing it's set to go for a long, long time. I know what you're thinking. How long before he gets rid of it? I'm not getting rid of it. I'm going to keep this one. Okay, now how many of you laughed? I was trying to hold it in myself. I would like to keep it. I want to keep it. I intend to keep it. I intend to keep everything. The fact of the matter is, I'll get bored with it. Some new shiny toy will come along, and this one will go down the road. If this truck car thing does us very good, I might send it over to Brian at the auto spa. If you think it looks good on video now, Brian can do some touch up. There's a few rock chips, nothing major on this, especially for the mileage, but maybe you can see there's a few. Oh, those are bugs. There's a rock chip right there. It's got a few little rock chips. He could probably touch those up. And then when he puts some polish and a coating on this thing and a set of brand new tires, oh man, this thing would look right. I think I'm going to call this quits for today. I am going to get under it. I'll try to fix that license plate light one more time, and then I'm going to give up. And then I'm going to drive it home. But I enjoyed this. I love this. It's so much fun. And I want to point out one last time that I'm in no way, shape, or form throwing shade at the dealership. I just got to say it one more time because I know people are going to get carried away with it and think that I'm like trying to start trouble. Absolutely not. I don't know who did the work on it. Like I said, all I know is that on the invoice from the dealership, it shows all of this work being done. And that's how I knew that it was done, because it was literally on their website and it showed all the work they put into it. Over $3,000 worth of parts and labor they poured into this, and then they sold it for 10. Now, I'd be willing to bet whoever traded this in, they probably had to give them about 10 for it. I mean, it had to be close to $10,000 trade-in value on this. It had to be 8 to 10, plus they drop another 3 or 4,000 into it. They definitely lost money on it. All I'm saying is whoever did the work, whether they outsourced it or not, whoever did the labor, that's kind of messed up, really messed up, that so many important nuts and bolts underneath this thing were loose and one completely missing. And being listed on the website at retail, slightly under retail, because most of these are sitting around $20,000. With bad tires, I mean, front tires that are 10 years old, bald, cracked, rotted, and back tires that are hard as a rock and 8 years old or 7 years old. It's, you know, whatever. I'm going to eat the, you know, the cost of that. And it's not a big deal because I feel like I got it for such a good deal. I can't be mad about it. There's nothing to be mad about. So far, I haven't spent a single dime on this car. I will spend the $1,500 on the tires, but there'll be a few little tune-up parts here and there. But overall, I stole this thing for 10 grand. So I am still very, very happy that I got it. With that said, I'm going to get out of here, but I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you're not currently subscribed. I am going to be driving this for a while. I'm going to be enjoying it. We'll come back later on with another video, of course, after we get the tires and everything, and we'll see how it does then. Until next time, drop those comments below, and like I said, subscribe to the channel. Till next time, stay safe out there, everybody. I look forward to seeing you all again very soon in the next one. You guys didn't think I was going to come back and fix that light, did you? Go ahead, comment below. You didn't think I was going to come back and fix that light. Well, I did. So there you go. The last thing on my list to do. I couldn't send it out, man. I couldn't drop it down and drive it out when there's one last little thing to do, like fixing a light bulb. Now it's done, and now we're going to get out of here. Thank you, by the way, for sticking around to the very end of the video.